Hello everybody, I'm Roxy and this is Wreck Me BS. So I've really lost my mojo for a sort of recording because I've had to record this like 5 times. But anyway, so as you may know if you follow me on Instagram, that I really recommend you should, the link's down below. I went to London. It was my first vacation by myself and paid mostly by myself, and I was so excited. I had a lot of fun and I am going to upload vlog videos from that, so watch out for that. I recently came back, and by recently I mean 2 days ago. I have all the books that I bought there, which are tons, lying on my coffee table, on the coffee table, and I need to put them away. And so although I do want to bring you book reviews and discussion videos and a bit more substance, I need to record this right now. Let's get on then with the haul. I have divided this into several hauls thematically, and this one in specific is London fiction. So I had to invite my dog in because he apparently wanted some love. Anyways, so let's get on to it. Drive by James Sallis. So this is a crime novel. I'm not that sure about the actual plot because I read the first 3 pages and I got really hooked. And it's short for a crime novel, which always makes me very intrigued because I'm thinking how are you going to pack all the punch that you need in this short book? And if it does it well, I feel like I'm going to absolutely adore it. So as I've gathered, it's about Driver and maybe he's a murderer. Then I bought the Persephone book of short stories by the Persephone publishers. Persephone Books is a marvelous independent store and publisher. If you're ever in London, you need to visit their headquarters. It's this lovely little room where they have their offices, and also they have their whole catalog. They also sell their books to other bookstores. You can find their books at Waterstones and Falls, etc, etc. But it's so nice to see them all together, and the women there are so nice, and they gave me their catalog and their magazine, and that was great. This of course is a collection of short stories ranging from very famous like Shirley Jackson's The Lottery to some of which I've never heard before, really. And also the presentation of the book is so precious. The thing I dropped is actually a bookmark, and so they have it and it matches this part, and it's just luscious. And their mission too is just so great because it focuses on women authors and some male authors that write about female experiences especially well and throughout time. Then I bought Public Library by Alice Smith. I've always wanted to read Alice Smith because she's big in literature, not only in booktube. I chose to start with Public Library and Other Stories because not only is it short, but it's also about something that really resonates with me, so I think it's the best way to get into her writing. If I like her, of course I'll start maybe collecting her books. This is also a first edition and it's signed, which was a really interesting finding. Stories to get you through the night. A collection of stories that include Chekhov, Woolf, Munro, Murakami, and many more. I love short stories collections. I think if you've been on this channel for a while, you may know this. This one seems very eerie, it means to be soothing, but in a way that it's not really, and I love that. Stories seem to be very deep and unsettling in a very psychological way, and I love that. That's right up my alley. And I found this in the most amazingly random fashion as well, and I was just browsing through one of the bottom shelves because I always do that. And suddenly I came across a pile of books. There was a pile of books, and on top of all those books was this one, and I instantly fell in love. I thought it was pretty, it was cheap, it seemed very promising, the list of authors, it was a short story collection, everything came together, and I was yes, yes. The Girls by Emma Cline. This was a shot in the dark for me. So I know this is about the girls from one of the most famous quotes from the 60s or 70s in the States, and I've been back and forth thinking about buying it or not because it is YA, I believe, and I've seen mixed reviews, and Lena Dunham is on the cover, but then again Mark Haddon is also on the cover, and the subject so interests me. And then I don't know, I started reading the first pages and the writing seemed like straightforward and dry but pleasing, but in a good way, in a way that it was very atmospheric. So I don't know, I'm trepidant because YA and I have not had a good relationship lately. The past year was awful for me, YA wise, but let's hope for the best. So one of the books that I was looking for was the portable Dorothy Parker, but I didn't want to get it like at a mainstream bookstore. I was just trying to shop at either independent bookstores or secondhand bookshops. And I couldn't find it, and so I found this very beautiful collected Dorothy Parker, much shorter. No, the best of Dorothy Parker. I will say collected. No, the best of Dorothy Parker. And it's very pretty. I think it comes with illustrations. Yes, it does. And it has poetry as well as short stories, which is basically what I wanted. I'm still going to get the portable Dorothy Parker. Yeah, and it's so cute, and I love Dorothy Parker. Then I got Poems on the Underground, which it's just a great idea. Like, what sold me on it was that it was very eclectic. Then I got The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I haven't read like The Goldfinch, and actually I'm like hesitant because because it's so long and nothing has like given me that push to say, yeah, this is worth reading. But this sounds very interesting because it's like a college mystery, and that is like right up my alley. I just love college stories. Most of them can be very stupid, so I don't bother, but when it's done right, I just love it. Then I got, and this was a true jewel, and it was like £4, so A Collected Works of Isaac Asimov edition. It has the Foundation trilogy, which is the one I want to read the most, and then The Stars Like Dust, The Naked Sun, and I, Robot. Then I got Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and this edition is the most beautiful edition I have ever seen. Like the one with the like typewriter and the pages that go into clouds is beautiful, but this one is like more mysterious and like really translates that feeling of uncertainty that I think the book carries. So I read Slate House by David Mitchell, and I love the prose. I love this setting and the whole just narrative process, but how the plot was developed I really didn't enjoy. But this one is supposed to be like his best work, and I've heard a lot about it. It's about this person, I think, that changes lives like throughout history, or yeah, I swear I knew what it was about, but then when you have to explain it, it's harder. But anyways, another relic, and I was so happy when I found it again at a secondhand bookstore. Porno by Irvine Welsh. So if you don't know what Trainspotting is about, I think my whole monologue doesn't make much sense. It's about a group of junkies, sort of their whereabouts, how they try to strengthen their lives sometimes and it doesn't work out, how some of them battle the addiction, some of them don't, how they relate to each other because they're not quite friends. Some of them are more like frenemies, and they have very complex relationships to others because of course you're never really only one person. It's very interesting, and it's done in a very raw but not overdone way, which is interesting, and I'm very excited to read the follow-up. The last book I bought was Back High and Other Plays by Euripides. This of course was not of my own device. I had to read it because of college. I only had to read the Back High, so I cannot go into the other plays, but Back High is about the festival that they did for Dionysus, the god, you know, of pleasure and abundance. You know, there's this traditional image of him like being very fat and drinking wine, but he was actually very pretty, and he sort of infiltrates his own festival without his servants knowing. And it's there is a part that it's so raw and fantastic. Thank you, professor, thank you, because it was so fun to read. Not so much at the beginning, but it gets traction as it progresses, and the ending, best ending ever to a Greek tragedy, because it sort of left you with that like, what the hell just happened? I hope you like this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. I will link the rest of the hauls here. See you next time. Remember my social media and everything. Bye. bookstores, like no. Also, I know a lot of people don't like hardbacks. I don't mind paperbacks, but I adore hardbacks. Like, is this anybody? Then I got Cloud Atlas. Transporting is about, I guess, that is.